Hello, my dear students. देखिए, as on your request, again I am here with the chapter-wise solution of the new papers that are being constantly uploaded on this NT Abhyas app. So today I am taking this thermal properties of matter given in the JEE main section and telling you this paper is really a challenging one. It's not that easy one. The questions are, you can say, are beyond JEE main and more are towards JEE advanced. There are easy questions as well, but there are really good questions. There are some calculative questions as well. One question number 27, the data is wrong or the answer is wrong. There's some issue in that. Otherwise, all in all, it's a challenging paper, and I think it's a nice one. You will take time to solve such questions. It is a challenging testing paper, you can say, and for the NEET aspirants I'll say you can avoid many of the questions which involve too many calculations and integration. So let's see what is there in this particular paper. Now question number 1. If a piece of metal is heated to temperature theta and then allowed to cool in a room which is at a temperature theta naught, the graph between the temperature T of the metal and the time T will be. So you know that the rate of cooling is directly proportional to the difference of the temperature between them. So as the time passes, this difference theta minus theta naught decreases. So what we need to have a curve whose slope is decreasing, and ultimately at infinite time, or you can say after a long time. So when t tends to infinity, this theta must tend to theta naught. So these are the things that we should remember. The slope must be decreasing. Here it is increasing. In the first it is decreasing. I think first would be the right. Third is not possible. Fourth is not possible. It is not going to constant. So the option A, you know this curve, you can easily tick it. Next one. A hot and a cold body are kept in vacuum separated from each other. Which one of the following cause decrease the temperature in the hot body? Now the crucial thing to note, it is vacuum. So because it is vacuum, you know the convection and conduction can't take place, so only the radiation is the possible mode of heat transfer that is feasible even in absence of any medium in a vacuum. So it's a theoretical one. Next one. An end of a copper rod of uniform cross section of length 1.5 meter is kept in contact with ice at 0 and the other end with water at 100. Whole system is insulated, that is isolated from the surroundings. Then at what distance from the end of the rod which is in contact with the steam, the temperature should be at 200 degrees Celsius, so that in steady state the rate of melting of ice be equal to that of production of heat. Okay, so what you have, let's say here you have water at 100 degrees Celsius, here you have some ice at 0 degrees Celsius, and here you put this flame, let's say like this flame is kept at 200 degrees Celsius. Let's say this gap is x, so this would be 1.5 minus x. Okay, so let's say this is heat will flow Q1, or you can say the heat per unit time typically we write as H1, and let's say here the heat flows as H2. So what we have, this H1 would be equal to dm by dt into the amount which is vaporizing. H2 would be dm by dt into the amount which is what we can say it is a fusion, latent heat of fusion, basically we can say the melting of ice. So what it needs here, as per the question, what we need, the rate of melting of ice be equal to rate of production of steam. That means both dm by dt must be equal. So what you have, H1 by H2 must be equals to LV by LF. And this LV by LF thing means 540 by 80, so 54 by 8, 27 by 4. Now what is H1? H1 you know K delta T by L, so that would be K. A delta T here would be 100 over X, and H2 would be K again. Here the difference would be 200 and the gap would be 1.5 minus X. So that is 27 by 4. This K things goes. This 00 goes. 1.5 minus x over 2x is equal to 27 by 4. Let's say, let me cancel it to 2. So what I get, 3 minus 2x is equal to 27. So what you have, 2x is equal to I think something is coming as negative, which should not be the case. I think, let me check it out if the calculation is perfect. Okay, there is x also 27x, so that's why I was thinking there is something issue. So if we do this 3 is equals to 29x, so x is 3 by 29 meters. So in centimeter it would be 300 by 29 centimeters, so it would be 10 point something, I suppose. So the first option is the only one that you should go for. So again, it's a good question. Next one. 3 rods of material X and 3 rods of material Y, okay, are connected as shown. All the rods are of identical length and cross section. A is maintained at 60, E at 10. This is 60, this is 10. Okay. Calculate the temperature of junction C. The thermal conductivity of X is given and Y is given. So what we have, if I call it K, this will become 2K. Now, so what we have for the X1, the Rx would be, what you have, L upon K. So L upon K means L upon 2K, and Ry would be equal to L upon Ka. So if I call it as R0, this would be 2R0. So what we have, if I draw it in the analogy of the current resistance which your teachers might have told you, this would be, what you will say, it would be 2R0. What we can say, okay, there's a mistake from my end. This is access to, okay, 2R0, no, it's right. So 2R0, this would be R0, 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 R0, 2R0, 2R0 and R0. So it's a balanced Wheatstone bridge you have got, so this would be cancelled up. So here this will be in series 2R0, here this will be in series, what you can say it as 4R0, and 2 and 4 in a parallel. So what we have, we will have, this would be 2R0, and now what it is 4 into 2, that is 8 by 6, or you can say 4 by 3 R0, and this is 2R0. So this is 60 degrees and this is 10 degrees or 10 volts, whatever you can write, and this would be the junction B. So what would be the temperature at the junction B now? At the junction B, what you can say, the drop would be, here if I say the drop would be 2 upon 2 plus 4 by 3 into 50, that is the total drop, that would be equal to 60 minus TB. So what you will have, if I simplify it, 3 2s are 6 and 6 plus 4 10 into 50 is 60 minus TB. So what we are left with, this is 30 is 60 minus TB, so TB comes out as 30. So the temperature of the junction B is 30 degree, and from symmetry you can say this would be equally divided, so C would be at 20 degree because both sides are symmetrical. So the temperature of C is going to be 20 degrees. So it would be like this. Okay, they have given this solution. Okay, they have given the solution figure also. I think I didn't saw it, but okay, anyways, this would be 20 degrees Celsius in this particular case. Next one, you have a point source of heat of power P placed at the center of a thin spherical shell of mean radius R. Material has a conductivity K. Calculate the thickness of the shell if the temperature difference between the outer and the inner surface of the shell in a steady state is capital T. So if you can remember, or if you are very well aware of already how to do this, some people remember the formula, some don't remember because it is not usually asked in the examination. Let me wait. Okay, so here what you have a shell like this. So let's call it R1, let's call it R2. Now the mean radius means R1 R2 would be equal to R square. If you are not aware, this is what the people usually tend to write. And let's say this is the thermal conductivity K, it is being like this. So let's say this temperature is TH and this temperature is TC. The heat flows like this. This would be a radial heat flow, like this, like this, like this. Heat will flow like this. So we will take small thin spherical shells, all will be in parallel, not in parallel, sorry, or will be in series. So for a small thick shell, taking it R at dr, so dr would be what we usually write as L upon, you write as L upon Ka. So L means dr upon K and A means 4 pi R square. So what we will have, the complete resistance would be, if I integrated dr upon 4 pi K R square from R1 to R2. So 1 by R square is minus 1 by R, so 1 upon 4 pi K, it would be minus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R1, you can write it. So what it would be what you can say, it would be what we can say from R1 to R2. So what we have, R2 minus R1 above and 4 pi K R1 R2, I can write it at R square. That R square, this is the resistance, so RS will, I can write RS. Okay, this is the resistance. Now what we have, resistance is you know the heat current is equal to delta T by R, usually what we write it as. So H would be delta T upon R. Okay, so this is going to be the H here, and this H is given as P. This is given as P because that is the power or the heat current, it has the same dimensions. So this would be delta T, the temperature difference. This is given as T upon R. R would be r2 minus r1, and here you have 4 pi k r square. So the what you need the thickness is r2 minus r1. So r2 minus r1 is 4 pi k r square t by p. Now what we are getting, this is option C. So again, it's a nice calculative one, but if you are aware of such questions, it's not that tough for you, provided you have done such questions. A 2 meter long wire of resistance 4 ohm in diameter, 0.64 millimeter is coated with plastic insulation of some thickness. When a current of 5 ampere flows through the wire, then the temperature difference across the insulation in steady state would be. Okay, so for insulation we will assume this insulation here is given, we will have this insulation. So what's happening, what you have this wire like this, so the current is flowing in it, so it is generating some heat. Let's say I can write that as I square R. So what is this I square R? So the current is what you have, the current, if you are given 2 meter as a 4 ohm and diameter, this 5 ampere current is flowing, so that is 5 square into 4. So what we have, this is 100 watt, and if you will convert it into joule or calorie, joule to calorie, we can do it later. Now this heat would be dissipated outwards in the form of that insulation covering like this. So there would be the radial heat flow like this, and this would be a cylindrical flow what we have here. So for this what we have to find the temperature difference. So again the way we did it in the last question, again let me enlarge it, it's better, I'll do it like this. Okay, so again go at some distance r and take a small shell of dr thickness and take this cylinder like this. So if you do this, it will be what you have, the radial heat flow. So again all will be in series. What you will have, the resistance would be this dr upon L upon Ka. K is given, and area would be what we have, this curved surface area, we usually write it as 2 pi RL. So the overall resistance would be dr over 2 pi K L R, you can write, and again you can go from let's say A to B or R1 to R2, and what we have dr 1 by R you know is ln R. So 1 upon 2 pi K L, and it would be ln of B by A. So this is the resistance. So the heat flow, the heat current would be equal to this H quantity. So this would be what we can say, this is 100 watt. So if I convert it into let's say calorie one, it would be 4.2 because K is given in that K thing. So this is H, and that would be equal to delta T by R. What we write it as delta T by R, and this R you know. So 100 upon 4.2, you need to find the delta T would be multiplied by R, that is 1 upon 2 pi K L. K what you are given 1.16 into 10 to the power minus 2. It was in centimeter. Okay, so it was in per centimeter, so I'll take that length thing to be in centimeter. So the length is 2 meter is given, let me write it as 2 meter, so 200 centimeter I can write, and this would be delta T, and this thing what we have multiplied by R, ln of B by A, and it is a thickness 0.06. So ln of B by A, so A would be 0.32 and B would be this is insulation of thickness, so that would be 0.38 I think. Okay, because thickness is this, that would be added 0.32, and what I can write it as 0.38. So what we will have, ln of 38 by 32. I think I don't know what the value of ln of 38 minus 32 will be. Nonetheless, let's try to figure it out what it comes. 100 by 200 let's say goes. So now what we have, so what we will be left with, we would be left with this is 10 to the power minus 2, it's come at 100, it would be 4.2 into 2 pi, that is 8.5 pi into 0.16 into 2, let's write it as 0.32 into ln of 38 by 32. Now it's going to be too tough for us to determine what it would be. It would be ln 1 point something, so I don't know how to write this, but this is how it is coming up. Now there's no hint, 38 is 19 into 2. I think we are not very much aware how to calculate this thing, so let's leave it. I am doing by calculator, and let's check. So this was the result, and on solving it's coming out close to 2 degrees Celsius. It's too calculative one, but question is nice. It's actually JEE one, not for the other examination I suppose. Now the next one, a solid sphere you have of copper of radius r, and again you have a hollow sphere of inner radius r, outer radius r, heated to the same temperature, allowed to cool in the same environment, which of them starts cooling faster? This is a very standard question. You all know this is hollow sphere. The reason is because that minus dt by dt rate of cooling, that comes out proportional to EA by ms. So rest all things are same, but the mass of the hollow sphere would be lesser than the hollow sphere, definitely, because it has less volume, less quantity of the matter inside it. So it would be definitely cooling at a faster rate. You can directly go for it. Next one. A body cools in 7 minutes from 60 to 40. What would be its temperature after the next 7 minutes? The temperature of the surrounding is 10. So again, it's a standard question of your Newton's law of cooling. So first 60 to 40, the change is 20 degrees. It takes 7 minutes. That would be equal to k times theta average. Theta average would be 50 minus theta s, that is 10. The second time, the temperature of the be after next 7 minutes. So let's say it falls by delta T amount in next 7 minutes. So the average value would be, because it falls by delta T, so the average would be, the initial temperature is 40, the last one is 40 minus delta T. So let's say final temperature be, let me call it as T final. It should be better. Let's call it final temperature is T final. So the drop I can write better, delta T as 40 minus Tf. So now what would be the average? It would be 40 plus Tf by 2 minus 10. This would be the second equation. So what you do, you just divide it. So 20 over 40 minus final temperature would be 40 over, what we have, 40 by 2 is 20 minus 10, 10 plus Tf by 2. Okay, so this 0 0 I can take it out. So it would be 20 plus Tf, that is 40 into 4 minus 4 Tf. So it is 160. This comes out as 5 Tf is 160 minus 20, that is 140. So Tf is 140 over 5, which comes out to be 28 degrees Celsius. So you can safely tick for question number C as standard Newton's law of cooling profile, which is generally asked in the examinations. You have wire of length 1, radius 10 to the power minus 3, carrying a heavy current assumed to radiate as a black body. At equilibrium, the temperature is 900, surrounding is 300. Resistivity of the material at 300 is this, and the temperature coefficient is this. Find the current in the wire. So because in the steady state, the conduction current, what you have, I square R, and that would be equal to, you have to find the value of R. So this I square R would be equal to the, what we can say, the rate of heat loss because of that radiation thing. So that radiation thing, you will write it as, because it is a cylinder, sigma A would be 2 pi RL into T to the power 4 minus Ts to the power 4. Now again, it would be quite a challenging one to solve, because calculation is not going to be that easy. Plus you are given the resistivity at 300, you need to find the resistivity at a 900, you are given alpha also. So again, calculating R would be a challenge. First of all, R, what I will write it as rho L by A. So if I write it as rho L by A, rho will become rho naught into 1 plus alpha delta T into what we have, rho L by A, L would be L, and area would be pi R square. Okay, so substituting the value, what you will have, I we are searching for, resistance becomes rho naught 1 plus alpha delta T L upon pi R square, that is sigma 2 pi R L T to the power 4 minus Ts to the power 4. 1 L is cancelled. That is the only good thing that we have seen till now. So that L is cancelled now. So what would be I square? Let me try sigma. This would be 2 pi square R cube upon rho naught 1 plus alpha delta theta or delta T, what you will write, T4 minus T naught to the power or Ts to the power 4, whatever you can write it. Now it's not going to be a good site to calculate, but we are left with no choice. Pi square typically we write as 9.8 something or 10 something. Let me write 9.8 for the time being. R cube would be 10 to the power minus 9. The rho naught thing would be what you have, okay, pi square. So let me leave it as pi square only. I'll cancel it up. Pi square into 10 to the power minus 8, 1 plus alpha, that is 7.8 into 10 to the power minus 3 into 600, and 900 to the power 4, absolute temperature already given, minus 300 to the power 4. So it's an easy calculation, definitely not easy calculation. So I'm leaving it and I'm solving on the calculator. It really comes out closer to 36 amperes. Again, too much calculator part it is. So too much calculative questions they are given in this test, can't help. Body having a temperature of 27 degrees Celsius is kept in a room having a temperature of 27. Does the body emit any radiation? Yes, it will emit, but the amount it emits is equal to the amount it absorbs. So it would be yes, not no. So it is still radiating, but the amount of radiation would be equal to the amount of radiation absorbed by it. Now this is a standard one. 3 rods of same dimension having thermal conductivity is 3K, 2K, K with their ends. So this one is 3K, this one is 2K, and this one is K. So if I'll write it as R, this will become R by 2 and this will become R by 3. That you can do indirectly. They are arranged as shown in the figure. The temperature of the junction will be, so again that would be a easier thing. The temperature, let's say it be T. Let's assume the current flows like this, H1, let's say it goes as H2, and let's say it goes as H3. So what you will have, a simple junction law gives you H1 is equal to H2 plus H3. So what we have, 100 minus T over R by 3 is equal to T minus 0 over R. That would be equal to T minus 50, interchange R2 and R3 upon R by 2. So what you are left with, 3 by R into 100 minus T is equal to T by R plus 2 times T minus 50 by R. So this R gone. 300 minus 3T is equal to T plus 2T minus 100. So again this is 3T, 60 is equal to 400. So T is 400 by 6, or you can call it as 200 by 3. So what we will go for, option A, that's the first one that I am seeing, and that's the right one. Now next, 2 metal rods of the same length, area of cross section fixed end to end between rigid supports. The material of the rods have a Young's modulus y1 by 2, coefficient of linear expansion y1 and I2. The junction between the rod doesn't shift if the rods are cooled. Then, so the junction is not shifting. So junction is not at all shifting. That means you can assume that the stresses must be the same, the tensions must be the same. Then only you can have it would be balanced. Otherwise, if there would be a slight difference initially, it would slightly be, let's say, compressed one more or little. So what you will have, tension, you know, tension is equal to AY alpha delta T. So area is a given, so what we have, delta T is also same. So what we will have, alpha 1 y1 must be equals to alpha 2 y2. You can also do it by, because both will suffer the same amount of fractional change. So also you can calculate it using this particular result, alpha 1 y1 equal to alpha 2 y2. The main thing is the tension must be the same, so that the junction doesn't shifts at all. It isn't shifted at all. So alpha 1 y1 is alpha 2 y2. Next one. A rod of length L of the uniform cross-sectional area consists of material whose conductivity is now again a function of temperature. I think this will also be a calculative one, where K naught A, B are constant, T1, T2 are temperature of the two ends of the rod, then the rate of heat flow across the rod is going to be, okay, so what we have, T2 is less than T1, so it is T1, it is T2. So as we, let's say, let's go at a distance x and take the temperature to be T, and let's say it falls by T minus dt. This is the change over this is small dx. So what we will write, the fall dt, or you can say h would be equal to K would be K, we will write it upon dt by dx, and this is going to be constant throughout the rod. So what we will have, K would be equal to, what U K is, K naught A plus BT, area let's say A, dt by dx. That is because that this h is going to be now a constant thing for you. Now the rate of heat flow, what you will do, you will write it as h dx would be equal to K naught A upon A plus bt into dt, and do this calculation. X varies from 0 to L, T varies from T1 to T2. So this is h into L, this would be K naught A, and if you do this integration, you know this would be ln of A plus bt, and this B will be in division, I suppose. Yes, it would be in division, and limit from T1 to T2. So what you will have, h would be equal to K naught A dl, that is what we are getting in all options, and it would be ln of A plus bt2 upon A plus bt1. That is what I am sensing, that should be the answer, A plus bt2 upon A plus bt1. That is what we should be writing. Okay, so this is what we are going to get, but you already know there would be some sign mistake, because h is equal to, typically you write it as minus Ka dt by dx. So T1 is a greater one, So I have written it right. What's the mistake that I have done? Let me check. A plus bt, there must be some sign, because one thing is clear, T2 is lesser, so the quantity cannot be less than 1. I think there's some minus sign we have missed, so better would be writing T1 above and T2 below. So that would be the better option to write, because that would be the magnitude. That is what they are asking for. So magnitude must be written like this. So this is the way we will be writing this. So hsk dt by dx, we can write this. Okay. Next, or better you write it in minus k dt by dx form. Whatever, you are smart enough, you know it would be a positive quantity, so it would be a plus btn upon a plus btt2. If the coefficient of cubical expansion is x times of the coefficient of superficial expansion, you know it is 1.5. No point in explaining this. Alpha is beta and gamma relation. Next, room of 20 degrees heated by a heater of resistance 20 ohm connected to 200 volt means temperature is uniform throughout the room and the heat is transmitted through a glass window of area 1 meter square thickness. This calculate the temperature outside, thermal conductivity is given, and this is given like this. So what we can say, the heat generated would be V square by R. So 200 square by 20, that is lost in the form of the conduction. So that conduction means K is what you have 0.2 in calories, so convert it into 4.2. This would be 0.2 into 4.2 K. A means area means 1 upon L is 0.2 centimeter into delta T. So you have to find the outside temperature, that would be 20 minus T. Okay, so what you are left with, it would be 200 square by 20. So what you will have, 4000 upon 20. So this 0.2 goes, it is 420, 20 minus T, 0 goes, 0 goes, 0 goes. So it is 200 is equal to 42 into 20 minus 42T. So T would be 42 into 20 minus 200 over 42. So I'll take as 20 common, it would be 42 minus 10 over 42. So it is 20 into 32 by 42. So this is 10, this is 21, this is 320 by 21. So you can make it out how much it would be. It would be 15 point something, that is for sure. Next, cylinder of radius r made of a material of thermal conductivity K1 surrounded by a shell of inner radius r, outer radius 2r, made of a material of thermal conductivity K2. The two ends of the combined system are maintained at two different temperatures. No loss through the cylindrical surface. That means they are in the linear flow. You have the not the radial flow here first, and you have this as second. So heat is flowing like this. So what we will have, you will have both in parallel. So the R1 you will write it as the first one, resistance is L upon K1 into pi R square. The second one would be L upon K2 effective area would be pi R2 square, and that is 4R square minus R square, that would be 3R square I can write. Okay, now both are in parallel, so the effective resistance would be 1 by R would be 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. So if I write it as effective L upon K, I will write it as pi into 4R square K equivalent, that is L upon K. Okay, I am writing it as the wrong one. R 1 upon R I am writing, so it would be K into 4 pi R square effective divided by L, that would be equal to K1 pi R square by L plus 3K2 pi R square by L goes pi R square goes. So K effective would be K1 plus 3K2 by 4. So go for option C in this particular situation. Next one. The graph shown in the adjacent diagram represents the variation of temperature of two bodies having the same surface area with time. Both of the body lose heat only due to the emission of radiation. The correct relation between the emissive and absorptive power, you know, A is equal to E, so both are going to be in the same order, and clearly seems X is losing temperature at a faster rate, so emissivity of X is greater than emissivity of Y, so absorptivity will also be greater than that. So both will have the same sign, so there is only one option which is red, this is C. Next one. Assuming sun to have a spherical outer surface of radius r radiating like a black body, the power received by a unit surface at distance r from the center of the sun, but basically what you call it as the solar constant. So the power received would be intensity. So intensity would be P upon 4 pi r square. So P upon 4 pi r square, and P would be equal to sigma A T to the power 4. So spherical surface, sigma into 4 pi r square, T to the power 4 upon 4 pi r square. Now this 4 pi goes. Now you can make it out. This temperature was in Celsius. Okay, so make sure, because it was in Celsius, it should be in the Kelvin thing. So it would be like this. That would be the better option. So what we are left with, I think only D option. That is the right one. Next one. Black body emits radiation at the rate P when its temperature is T. It has a temperature, this is a lambda minus lambda on T, lambda naught. If it has temperature T dash, the power radiated is P dash, and it is at lambda naught. From Wien's law, you know lambda T is constant. So because it is half, now the temperature has become 2T. So power is proportional to T to the power 4. So power will become 16 times. So it will become 16 times. So you can say the new power P dash would be equal to 16 times the P. So now what we have, T dash is equal to 2T. So P dash T dash, if I'll do that, would be 32 times PT for sure. So only the first one is looking correct on the first look. Now we have the intensity of radiation emitted by the sun has its maximum value at 510 and emitted by North Star at this. If both behaves like black body, the ratio of the surface temperature is again the same thing what you have. Lambda sun T sun is lambda of north to temperature of the North Star. So Ts by Tn would be equal to lambda n 350 over 510. This is what you can see. This is Ts by Tn is 35 by 51. So it would be 0.7 something. I think that would be closer to 0.7. So 0.69 is what the answer would be. A spherical black body with radius 12 cm radiates 450 watt power at 500 Kelvin. Radius is half, temperature doubled. Radius half, area becomes 1/4. Temperature doubled, it becomes 16 times. So overall it will become 4 times. 4 times mean 1800. Go for it. That's an easy one. You need to have just the proportionality. If the temperature of the sun were to increase from T to TT, radius from R to 2R, the ratio of again the same thing. Radius is doubled, so area becomes 4 times, and the temperature factor becomes 16 times, so it becomes 64 times. So again a similar style 3 questions. Plot of intensity are given. Again what you can say, clear cut what you have, clear cut you can see. This lambda minimum is the least, so this temperature would be the greatest. So T1 is greater than T3 is greater than T2. Go for option C. Again the Wien's law application you are given. Next, which of the following cylindrical rod will conduct maximum heat when their rods are maintained at same temperature? So basically what you need to remember, I suppose both will be of the same material, so resistance what we say is L upon K. So we have to check the ratio of L by A. So what we have here, we have 1 upon 0.2 square. Here we have 1 upon 0.1 square, here we have 10 upon 0.1 square, and here we have 0.1 upon 0.3 square. So we need R to be minimum. So definitely this is lesser. Out of these three, this is the lesser one. So let's compare these two. This is 1 upon 0.01. You can say it is 100, and it is 0.1 upon 0.09. So it is what you can say 1 by 90. So 1 by 90. So it would be 1 by 90 or 1 by 90. Okay, sorry, I'm at a mistake. It would be 10 by 9. Definitely this is what we have. This is going to be the least one, I suppose. Let me check. Yes, this is going to be the least one. So this will conduct maximum. So go for option D. Next one. Two ends of a conducting rod of varying cross section are maintained at 200 and 0 in steady state. Here, just look at it. What happening? As you go here, the area starts decreasing. So if you take that resistance thing, you know it as L upon Ka. So area is decreasing, so the resistance is increasing. So resistance is increasing, therefore the temperature drop will also increase, because H is going to be the same. H is going to be the same. So the drop would be more in CD as compared to AB. So temperature across AB would be lesser. So we go for option C here. Directly what we can see, just looking at it, what we will say, RAB would be lesser than RCD. That you can directly make it out because of the difference in the areas. Good question that has been asked many times. Two solid spheres R1 R2 made of same material, similar surfaces. These are raised to the same temperature and then allowed to cool under identical condition. The ratio of their initial rates of loss of the heat is going to be. So going by the general law, you know, minus dt by dt, that is proportional to EA by ms. That you always remember, this is proportional to EA by ms. Temperature is same. So rest all are same. This is EA by ms. So similar surfaces, E will be same and material will be same, so S will be same, so it is proportional to A by M. Now area would be solid sphere, so area proportional to R square and M will be proportional to R cube, so you can say it is proportional to 1 by R. So the ratio of the initial rate of loss would be inverse to the radius. So what we will have, because it is going to be inverse to the radius thing. So ratio of the, okay, just be very careful, the mistake I was doing, it is the rate of loss of heat. I am checking the rate of loss of temperature. So for heat, simply minus dq by dt you have as what you have, sigma T to the power 4 minus Ts to the power 4. So only here only area matters, not the mass, so it would be proportional to r square. Go for option C. So be careful, both questions are asked. If it would be about the temperature, cooling rate, that it would be inverse to r. So be careful, otherwise you will lose marks. The inside of the glass window 2 mm black thick, 1 square meter in area is at 15, outside is minus 15. Okay, difference is 30. Calculate the rate at which heat escapes. So we have done this. So the formula you know is H is equal to Ka delta T by L. That is what we will apply. So the K value is given as 0.002 calorie per centimeter per second. So what we will write it would be what we have, because it is given in per centimeter, I'll multiply by 10 to the power 2. And again what we are getting, the area is given as 1 meter square, delta T is 30, and what we have, this is as 2 mm, that is 2 into 10 to the power minus 3. I can write it like this, and 15 15 30. Okay, so what we will be left with, the choice of let me do it correctly, diameter like this. Okay, centimeters. So what we are doing now, this is 2 into 10 to the power minus 3, this is 2 into 10 to the power minus 3, both will be cancelled. So what we are left with, this is 3000 calorie, that is what we are getting. So 3000 calorie per second, that would be the answer, and none of the option matches. And if I do their solution, see their solution, they have taken it to be minus 5 instead of minus 15. So the difference was 20 and the answer is 2000. But for this option, this data, this would be 3000. So that would be the answer here. So the data given is wrong. Assuming sun to be a total spherical body R at temperature T, evaluate the total radiant power incident and the earth at a distance R. So what we did just before, it was sigma R square per unit area was like this upon R naught square, and now R square, sorry, the mean distance. And for the earth, you know, the maximum area that can face in perpendicularly would be pi R square, not 2 pi R square. So multiplied by pi R naught square and you will get the answer. So this would be the result. So multiplied by pi R naught square, the one we did before. So go for option B here. This was for the per unit area solar constant, that multiplied by the maximum area that the earth can face perpendicular to that incoming radiations. Next one, the diagram shows the graphs of elongation versus temperature for two different metals. If these are employed to form a straight bimetallic strip of thickness 6 cm heated, it bends in the form of the arc, the radius of the curvature changing with temperature approximately as shown in the diagram. The linear expression of the two expensiveness of the two materials are. Okay, so it's a nice thing to start for. So temperature 50, the radius of curvature comes out as 75, and the elongation of the both are given like this. So first of all, what we can say, just make out the slope. So here, just looking at this graph, you can see for the same temperature change, the elongation in this first one is double of this in second one. So what we have, alpha 1 is equal to twice of alpha 2, that you can directly say. Now you know this at 50 degree, this becomes 75 meters. We directly know the radius formula if you have derived it, d is equal upon alpha 2 minus alpha 1 into delta t. Here I should write alpha 1 minus 2. So alpha 1 minus alpha 2, if I write it, it would be d times alpha 2 times delta t is equal to r. So r is 75. D would be what we say of the one part, that would be 3 centimeter. Alpha 2 we can find out from here, delta t is 50. So alpha 2 comes out as 3 upon 50 into 75 into 10 to the power minus 2. So this is 25 into 5 is 1250 into 10 to the power minus 2. So 1 over 125 into 10 to the power minus 3 I can write, or I can write it as 8 into 10 to the power minus 6. So the other one would be 16 into 10 to the power minus 6. You can directly go for it. Now you can derive this formula if you haven't done so, using those results that you remember, that if it bends like this, what we call as radius is the central point distance from that center. So we take it to be r, take this length to be r plus d by 2 into theta, take this length to be r minus d by 2 into theta, and writing this, the length of L1 would be L0 1 plus alpha 1 delta t. Here would be r plus d by 2 theta, and the L2 is L0 1 minus alpha 2 delta t, 1 plus alpha 2 delta t, r minus d by 2 into theta, and using the binomial approximations we derive this. And if you remember this, it would be very good. Usually I advise the advanced students to just recollect this helps in identifying the question. There was a question in JEE 99 also based on the proportionality used in this part, so if you remember it would be good for you. Don't remember, no issue, but then you will have to again derive and your time will be spent. Okay, now the last one. The loss in weight of a solid when immersed in liquid at 0 degree is W naught and at T degree is W. Okay, the loss in weight is given. Okay, if cubical coefficients of both are given, then W is equal to, now, so the loss in weight means the buoyant force. So the buoyant force W naught would be equals to what we can say. So that W naught thing would be, what you will say, it is equal to rho Vg. Rho means rho of what we can say liquid into volume of solid into G. Now at temperature T it would be rho L dash Vs dash G. Okay, so this W by W naught, if I divide, it would be rho L dash by rho L into Vs dash by Vs. Now rho L dash would be rho L into 1 plus what we can say gamma L into T, okay, upon rho L. And for the Vs thing, what you will have, or better in such type of questions, it's okay, you can write it like this, and this would be Vs, it would be Vs dash would be okay, here not 1 plus, you remember it's decreases, so my mistake, and it would be 1 plus gamma solid T upon Vs. So both things cancel up, and if you do this, because both are small, you can write it as gamma S minus gamma L into T. So what we are left with, we are left with only one choice, which is option number A. So not a tough one to crack, you must have done such questions. So all in all, it was a calculator 1. Thanks for watching, and I'll be coming up with the solutions of all the chapter wise tests which would be uploaded in future on the NTA test. Thanks for watching.